Welcome to episode 8 of the Discover Ocala podcast, presented by Showcase Properties of Central Florida. I'm Valerie Dailey, the presenter for this podcast. In episode 8, I visit with Jaye Baillie, Executive Director at the Marion Cultural Alliance. MCA's mission is to champion, convene, and create opportunities for artists and arts organizations. So let's learn more. Jaye, it is wonderful to see you. You're such a special person to me and
Likewise.
My family. So I'm excited to have you here on our podcast today. And we want to talk about how wonderful Marion Cultural Alliance is to Ocala and some of the cool things that you're doing there, and just a little bit more about maybe how it came about. Let's start there and go from there.
Well, thank you for inviting me. What a great way to start the weekend with
Yes,
Valerie.
right?
Yeah, this is fantastic. So I am so excited to serve for the past 7 years as the executive director.
Has it been 7 years?
Yeah, yeah.
Time flies.
It absolutely does. And our job primarily, as you know, is to raise funds, and then we give those funds back to the arts community. And this year, we're so excited that we were able to double our gifts, our funds back to arts organizations, and we're giving out $80,000 this year.
Awesome.
We got a matching grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. So that's the good news. The bad news is that we had 122,000 in requests, which means that our job is kind of never done. We have to keep fundraising as well, you know. But I'm just so excited. We've been here a long time, you and I, right? And to see Ocala just on the arts and cultural map from the time that we were just kind of a little spot on a map, and now we're a real tourist destination for those interested in arts and culture.
Right. And Ocala is embracing arts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it has a lot to do with the new mix of incoming residents that we're getting. Mm-hmm. It really has been wonderful to watch the people come through our door at the break that are moving here or interested in moving here, and they're starting to discover the arts, and they had no idea. And that's why I wanted to talk about my 10 favorite things today.
Good. Well, let's do that.
That would be so much fun.
Yeah. Jaye brought with her top 10 arts, culture, and historic places in Marion County. So,
and let me just tell you, it was really hard to narrow down 10. So I just did a data dump, and I had 25 things on there. So if I've left anybody out, I apologize. I apologize. But my number 10, it's really interesting that Fort King is a National Historic Landmark, and it represents a typical frontier fort, and particularly served during the Seminole War. And it's a complete replica, and they have festivals there and blacksmithing. It's terrific. So it's my number 10.
That's number 10. And I haven't been there yet, so it's certainly something that we should take a look at.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll
and they have a visitor center and pathways that go down to the springs. It's really a lot of fun.
Okay, good. We'll do that. Yeah. Okay, number 9.
Silver River Museum, you've been there,
yes,
right?
I have.
It's phenomenal. And over the years, it's grown from being pretty much focused on Marion County's history. There's a great wing, but they've added another section that brings in visiting exhibits. So it's really expanded its capacity to teach and to entertain. They have a woolly mammoth full-size in there.
Yes, they do.
A saber-toothed tiger that used to roam Marion County. We don't have those anymore, so folks don't have to worry. But they also have a great cracker village.
Yes.
So, you know the term piney woods, but this represents a typical settlement that you would come across in maybe the Ocala National Forest, and it's a wonderful place.
Yeah, and that event is usually in the fall. Is that right?
Yes, they have Ocala Days.
Ocala Days,
yes,
that's right.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So much fun. Much fun.
Good. Yeah. All right, so then we'll move down to number 8.
Yeah. So we have this growing galaxy of galleries that's happening. Some are nonprofits, some are run by individual artists, some are co-ops and collectives. And matter of fact, you may not know this, but the first Saturday of every month, there's a gallery hop.
No, I didn't know that.
Isn't that fun?
Yes.
So we have a map. It's available online. First Saturday gallery tour. There's now transportation that goes to all the galleries, ending up at the Mondo Gallery, the Appleton Museum of Art, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. But it's wonderful to see all these unique spaces that are featuring original art.
Do you know how many there are? How many?
Last count, 8.
8.
8.
Okay. And it takes all day?
I would think it just depends on how long.
How many
I would say
people
half
go?
a day,
Okay.
right? And the transportation starts in downtown Ocala, so you can do the loop and maybe come back and enjoy downtown Ocala.
Is there a cost associated with it? Awesome.
No, it's all free. Absolutely. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how did that come about?
There is a mighty little group that wanted to get it done, primarily spearheaded by the Art Army. And which isn't that fun? The Art Army.
Yeah.
And they said it would be great just to kind of knock down all the barriers for entry in the galleries. They want it to be free, and they want the transportation.
That's amazing. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's a great thing to do.
Absolutely.
All right. And of course, one of my favorite, Marion Theater, the number 7 here on your list.
So growing up here, we used to go to the theater and see Elvis Presley and Tarzan. But now this beautiful Art Deco theater has been transformed with state-of-the-art equipment. Last night, we had an event showing Midnight in Paris, so it's available for a rental. So if you wanted to show a special movie, you could rent and have a private
actually
party.
did that.
Did you do that?
Yes,
okay. How fun is that?
We did one for Christmas, and we had a Christmas vacation.
Of course.
And we invited our vendors and past customers and clients to come and participate. They've got popcorn
a full bar,
yes,
high end. Last night, because it was Midnight in Paris, we served our guests French 75s, which is very special. But it's fantastic. So I think they have themed months. They have, I think, like Sci-Fi Month coming up. But it's really a nice place,
neat.
Right.
And there's upstairs and downstairs, and I know one thing that they enjoy doing as well is showcasing our local artists, like Mark Emery.
Yes.
They had a special film.
They're great partners for the community, for sure.
That's great. Sure. Great. Okay. This is one of my favorites too, the public art, which include the murals.
Absolutely. So we have a growing mural trail you've been a fan of the Horse Fever Project since the very beginning and a supporter of the Horse Fever. And in front of Showcase Realty is the beautiful Hope, representing hope with cancer survivors and families going through that. And it is a gorgeous piece done by Paul Ware. But over the life of this project, and Horse Fever was the first public art project in Marion County. So the first time people could go touch and take pictures and follow a trail around. So it kind of lit this little interest in that. But little by little, at one point we had more public art per capita than the city of Chicago.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. If you include our sculpture stroll that we have at Tuscaloosa, all the murals downtown, it's just absolutely fascinating to watch public art grow. And it really is a destination. It's an attraction for art tourists, and as that grows, we'll be able to attract more and more art tourists.
Are there any new murals coming that you can share?
So there'll be an installation in historic West Ocala of the work has been completed, and it's all of the pioneers that helped West Ocala become successful. And so that work it's Charles Eady was the artist, and that will be, if you know where the bridge that goes over right at Pine Street. If you look to the right, you'll see some new lighting and some new benches. So those will be installed soon.
Awesome. Oh, very good.
Yeah,
so
it's exciting.
Expanding all over Marion County.
Absolutely.
All right. And your number 5 on the list is the Appleton Museum of Art.
Yes, you remember when it was built. It's 30,000 square feet, gorgeous Italian marble structure located in East Ocala off of Silver Springs Boulevard. And they have remarkable, beautifully curated exhibits that change frequently. It's very educational. You just don't walk through the galleries. You learn as you go through the galleries. There's 240,000 objects in Mr. Appleton's collection. And this, as you know, was a donation from the Appleton family.
Yes.
And they have First Fridays that free admission for everybody. And Marion Cultural Alliance is proud to be a part of providing that access for all to the Appleton Museum. But it just went through a recent accreditation by the American Alliance of Museums, so it's a top-notch museum.
That's great.
Yeah.
So interesting backstory on the museum. Hugh, my husband, as you know him, went out to Bridlewood Farm, which Mr. Appleton owned at the time, and he took Hugh around to some of the barns, and inside the barns were some of this artwork that is now being displayed at the Appleton.
Oh my gosh.
And he just had tons and tons of this artwork in stalls at the farm.
I've never heard that story.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, Hugh would
Yeah.
tell you all kinds of little interesting tidbits of where he purchased them and how he got them to the United States and things like that.
So interesting.
That is very neat.
Well, as you know, you probably know they have a great education wing too. So it's great for families to be able to go and let the kids do art projects. There's a gorgeous courtyard. It's just
and they have events there as well, so you can reserve space there.
Absolutely do.
Yeah,
they do.
That's great.
Yeah.
Good. And Riley Arts Center is on your list.
Yes. It's home of the Ocala Symphony Orchestra. And what's near and dear to people that have lived here for a long time, this building was very close to being demolished. It was built by the WPA, and all of us remember having science fairs there and so forth, and dances, reunions. But the group came together, raised significant funds, renovated into a gorgeous, iconic piece for our community, and the orchestra performs there. There's live concerts there. There are tribute bands. It's beautiful. You've arrived when you go to the Riley, and they just had a recent expansion.
Yes, they did.
It's absolutely stunning. And with that expansion, they added a music conservatory.
Nice.
So they're teaching to music with kinder music from tiny little babies all the way up to,
that's great.
To kids.
That's great.
It's really exciting.
So we're showing that arts is expanding in Marion County.
And very important to our residents.
Yes,
and
it is.
To our visitors, for sure. Yeah.
That's great. Okay. Number 3, you've got the Ocala National Forest on there.
Yeah, what's unique about our community is that we are surrounded by, or we have as part of our county, the largest national forest east of the Mississippi. Yeah. So anybody that's interested in kayaking, hiking, birding, just getting out and enjoying the springs, the river, the national forest. It's just full of things to do and full of history. The Yearling was filmed there.
Yes.
You can take the Yearling Trail and walk back to where the Long Family Cemetery was and learn about the making of the Yearling in Marion County.
Yeah, great.
Yeah,
great stories.
Yes, absolutely.
Such history here, right?
We do. It's remarkable.
Yes.
It's remarkable.
Yes. So speaking of history, and your number 2 choice, 75 years we've had our own civic theater, the Ocala Civic Theater.
This is a true community theater with all volunteer actors. It's absolutely remarkable. Now under the direction of Greg Thompson, he's done remarkable things. We have projection. I don't know if you've been there since the projection has come along, but it really has elevated our scenery to, I can't even explain how exciting it is.
Yes.
But this season, like I said, 75 years. I've been a part of the theater. My mom was on their board of directors for a long time. I was on the theater. Now I'm back on the board of directors. So I'm a little biased here. But this season kicked off this past week with Sweeney Todd.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Be careful when you get your hair cut by Sweeney Todd. And then all the way to the end, it's kind of ironic, but the season will end with Margaritaville.
Oh, great.
So, a beautiful tribute to Jimmy Buffett and his music. Yeah.
That's great. It's a wonderful theater. I went not too long ago, and as you grow in the community, you get to see your friends' kids, and they're in the plays and get to watch them, and it's fun.
It is absolutely so much fun. I love it.
Great. Okay, number 1. What's your number one choice?
Number 1. Well, my parents purchased a house in the historic district, the Ocala Historic District, before it was the historic district. So I've seen it really change. And there was a group of women and some men that knew that if these Victorian homes, some of them in disrepair, back in the 70s, weren't saved, that we'd lose a valuable part. And it's what makes Ocala so special. The tree-lined streets, the beautiful homes, but we have more than one historic district. We've got the residential historic district, we have the downtown historic district, which has many of the original brick buildings that were built after the big fire, and West Ocala Historic District, Denellen. So we have these pockets of absolutely exquisite architecture that again makes us so unique.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, that's your top 10. That's awesome. Thank you for bringing that with us.
Welcome.
But I also want to talk a little bit about some of the things that you're doing as the Alliance. So I know the First Friday Art Walks are starting back up again.
Yes, those are managed by the City of Ocala at the Brick City Center for the Arts, where MCA is located. We always have an opening reception for a new exhibit. So the First Friday Art Walk, I say, always starts at 5 o'clock at our place and then goes on all the way around downtown. It's fantastic. Yeah.
And then you have recently had some book readings, right?
Yes, we have a wonderful resident in our community that taught classical literature. So he has shared the 10 things that every human should read. So it's absolutely remarkable. I think I'd read about 2 of them and hadn't heard of the rest of them, but now I feel like my brain has just exploded.
Yeah.
So he's going to be offering that series in the spring as well.
Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to pick it up this time, but I will make it
for sure.
For the next time.
Good.
And I know that you've had various other programs. One of my agents came and had to do with the culture of India, and she got to make some clothing,
the saris and the henna and the dancing. Yes. We had so much fun. So not only do we have an exhibit every month, and it's typically a themed exhibit, but we have programming. And all the workshops they're typically free. So in that instance, we had an artist from India, and her work was on the walls. And then we had India food tasting and dancing, and just a wonderful time. So,
it's just amazing to sit here and listen to you and everything that you're working on. You have a board. And so how often do they meet?
Yeah.
And what about volunteers? And
Sure.
What does it take to run MCA?
A great team. So starting with our staff, we have a remarkable gallery director, Ashley Giussiano, and she's just remarkable in terms of being able to take all the art that the artists respond to our calls and be able to hang it visually. So beautiful. It's just beautiful. And then a gallery assistant and administrative. We have very small staff. Board of directors, we have 16. Dr. Saul Reyes is our current chair, and the volunteer program is up and running. We've been most recently using Southeastern Youth Fair ambassadors.
Oh,
yes,
great.
As volunteers. They're remarkable. Remarkable.
Kids.
But if anybody's interested, we have episodic volunteer opportunities. So if somebody just wants to come in on every Tuesday from 10 to 12 and serve as a gallery host, that would be wonderful. Or if anybody has computer skills, data entry skills, that's another need that we have. Or if somebody just wants to volunteer for some of our special events like Applaud the Arts that's coming up. We have a sign-up genius that folks can just go to our website and let us know that they're interested.
Great.
Yeah.
And then I know one other thing that you do is your space is available for rentals.
Yes. It's really a unique space. It was built in the late 50s, early 60s, and it's just one big room. But it's really cool to be able to have an event there because you're surrounded with art. And we have all the tables and tablecloths and so forth. So I've also heard that it's one of the best sound chambers in the community. So we have recitals there, and we have a piano that's available for use, and the adjacent courtyard. So you can be at the beautiful courtyard and then come into the brick and flow both ways. Yeah.
So what did I miss?
I don't think you missed anything other than my other 50 things that I love, but maybe you can invite me back for round 2.
I can sure do that, Jaye. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Valerie.
It's been a pleasure, and
it's been fun.
The arts are so very important to any community, but especially to Ocala because it still makes us so unique and why we love where we live.
we love where we live, for sure.
Thanks, Jaye.
Thank you.
Thanks to Jaye for joining us today, and we look forward to being with you once again next month, right here on the Discover Ocala podcast, presented by Showcase Properties of Central Florida.
Discover Ocala is presented by Showcase Properties of Central Florida. As an independent brokerage firm for over 2 decades, Showcase Properties has helped customers throughout Central Florida achieve their real estate goals. Showcase Realtors offer expertise in a variety of property types and price points, and their services go beyond just buying and selling. Visit showcaseocala.com to connect with a dedicated local realtor and start your unique real estate journey today. We also want to thank you, the listener, for taking time to discover Ocala with us. We hope you enjoyed this month's episode, and if you did, please consider leaving us a review or rating wherever you're listening, or even telling a friend about us. If you have any questions on other organizations, individuals, or events you'd like to see covered in future episodes, you can get in touch with us directly at discoverocala@showcaseocala.com. See you next month.